You know what? Tired, exhausted.
Me too. I
I'm
didn't get
getting.
home till 12:30 last night
That's ridiculous on a work night of all
on a
nights.
work night. Yeah, well, I'm a grown ass woman, Ben. I do what I want.
Amen. True that.
you
Very
know,
true that.
I
True
went and saw
words.
Deadpool Wolverine, so
Oh, is it good?
it's great. This is the second time I saw it. I
I need.
enjoyed it
I need to
immensely.
watch it. I need to
Yeah,
watch it. I need to see it.
I think it
I
gets better with subsequent watches.
Okay. A short spoiler for people that. Well, no, no, no. I won't spoil anything. But I saw that a certain individual is in it, a cameo,
Yeah, there's a
and
few of those.
okay, yeah, yeah. From what I know, there's a lot of them, but there's one in particular. I don't think this is spoiling. There is a Wolverine variant
Yes,
of a particular person actor,
yes, yes.
and that
That's
my
not what I
wife.
thought you were going to be hinting at.
Okay, my wife is
Um,
fond of.
yeah. Well, who isn't?
Sure, well, this is true. I
I
I
mean, I
think
don't hate it as a variant. It wasn't my favorite Wolverine variant that we see throughout the course of the film and franchise.
he's sure okay. He's just the one I know. The
Yes.
that my wife does not know, and I'm like waiting for her to like scroll and find it, just because I want to. I would love to see your face when she
I
finally
feel
finds
like I've
something.
already spoiled your wife with something from the movie, but knowing your
No, it's
wife, she's
fine.
not going to totally get it,
And nor does she cares. She
nor
spoils
does
things
she
purposely all
care.
the time for herself.
Correct.
It's what she does. I don't
And I
know.
don't want to
Weird.
say it, but I want to say it.
Yeah, I
But I don't
know.
want to spoil it for you because I want you to have the
Okay,
same,
okay,
hopefully, wholehearted reaction that I had. Um, but I will say that having seen it now a second time,
okay.
I do think it gets better because the amount of Easter eggs that are jam packed into this movie between cameos and little throwaway lines and background things, there is so much happening
It's a lot, huh?
that it does get better as you watch it. Yeah. So what have you been reading, Ben?
Um, ACOTAR.
Yeah.
Still doing ACOTAR. I finished. I haven't been updating Goodreads, but I finished Wings and Ruin.
Me too.
Yeah, you finished that as well, yeah. And I finished Frost and Starlight,
Yes.
which is the
I'm in the middle of.
novella, and you're in the
Yeah.
middle of that one, okay.
Mhm.
Which is like we were talking about before we recorded. It's fun. It's decent.
I like it. It's very light. It's not super heavy. We'll see what the next like 2 hours of the audiobook has to bring. Um, because
It's
it's just
it's a
I
good
like it.
reprieve.
It
It's a good
is. It isn't
reprieve.
nice
Yeah.
because we've been so high. There's been this looming danger of high burn through so much of one, but even more so of two and three. So then to like kind of be able to like take a step back and just kind of be with our characters for a little while and remember why we like them, I think is really nice. Or dislike them.
Or dislike them. Yeah. Character
Mm.
development, I think, is some
Yeah.
of the best, which is why I will say that I've started reading Silver Flames, and so far it is the best. And
Oh, okay.
also a lot of character, a lot of character development
I
in
like
that.
the thing I like the most so far about Frost and Starlight is that we're getting everybody's perspective.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because up through the first three are all from Feyre's perspective. And then Frost and Starlight goes from Feyre to Rhysand to Azriel to Cassian to Mor, and I'm loving that.
It jumps around.
It's great
It slows down in Silver Flames, and it's just two of the perspectives.
because that's Cassian and Nesta, right?
Correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love Nesta. She's a good character. She's one of my favorites for sure. For sure.
Okay.
Especially even more so in this book.
Right.
She's
When you
kind of
really
like
get your sink your teeth into her.
yes. Ironically, I was listening to it on Spotify, and then it was like it just kind of broke and was like, re-up your hours. You ran out of hours.
Yeah, you
So
only get
now
15 hours a month
I
on
said I thought
premium.
I said 20, but maybe you're right.
I
15,
thought it
20.
was 15,
You
but
might be
that's
right.
just
Either way,
what is
oh,
happening. Sir.
let me out. Kitty moment. You get the kitty moments
I
today.
got the
So
kitty moment today where you just
yeah.
whoom.
Yeah. Just like here I am.
Hello
Here I
to the
am.
people.
Rocking like a hurricane.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, so I just hit my threshold and I didn't re-up. I'm still waiting for it at the library. And if I have to, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and spend an Audible
Yeah.
credit. So
I mean,
um
with how much we keep going back to these,
yeah.
it's probably not a bad purchase.
Yeah. I'm so I will say this, having gone through these books 100% audiobook.
Hmm.
There's been, I think in Silver Flames, I'm pretty sure there's been two different narrators up to this point
Okay.
before Silver Flames, and I think the Silver Flames narrator is somebody different. It's
Which
brand
would
new,
make sense. It's a different character perspective.
which is
So,
awesome when
yeah.
it's Nesta and Cassian because those are the two main
Right.
characters. And that's preferred because she does a really good job with those two characters. But the moment we start hearing from old characters for Sand,
Yeah.
Feyre, um, more. Look at that tail.
I know.
Get it out of here. Get that butt out of here.
I know.
Um,
Cat butt, man.
yeah, but the minute she goes to one of those characters, I start getting confused.
Oh, okay.
Like legitimately, I'm like, why is Cassian saying that? Oh, it's
Well, and
not. It's
it's
for
like
Sand.
the like biggest one, right? Like,
And it's yeah, it's long. It is very long. Yeah, so that is unfortunate. That is a small qualm that I have with just audiobooks in general, which is I wish
yeah.
I had more time to read these physical editions because I think I would appreciate them a lot more. But then again, but an audiobook, I can appreciate it at all. So because I
Well,
don't really
yeah. I
have
mean,
a lot of time to
yeah,
do
it's
the
why I tend to do both. Like I have stuff I'm like physically reading and stuff that like I'm doing audio. I try to avoid doing like the audio and the physical at the same time, but I have done that with both of these, like with this whole like series.
yeah.
Where there have just been times when like I knew I was gonna have some downtime, like I was gonna be at a graduation party, running like a photo booth, and so I was like, once it's up and running, it's just I'm just there to make sure it doesn't get broke. Like I'm just keeping it, trucking along. So I
Uh-huh.
can sit here and I can read my book. So I just made sure that like I ended on a chapter and then I was able to pick up in the chat like the following chapter.
That's nice. That's a
Which
good deal
is
right
yeah,
there. Yeah.
that's how which is what I try to do if I know I'm going to have some time to physically read the book, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I'm gonna
but
have to eventually I'm gonna have to break down and just and bust out the book you got me.
yeah,
So
we are
I've
going to
been
need to do
thinking
that.
yeah, I've been thinking more and more about that. I'm thinking after Silver Flames. My wife keeps wanting me to do the rest of the um
I don't
Moss
I don't think
series.
there's anything wrong with wanting to leave the Moss verse
Moss verse. Yeah,
for
I
a
need a
little
break.
bit
I need
to
a
then
break.
come back into it. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have that. I am really ready to be done with Silver Flames just because January will be the next Empyrean. So that'll be Onyx Storm, which is the third one in that Fourth Wing Iron Flame
Oh, okay.
series. That releases in January. So I'd like to be ready to go and out of the Moss verse
For that, yeah.
so that I can dive back into the Empyrean come January when my pre order arrives.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a real fancy hardcover with like sprayed edges and little dragons. I'm real excited.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. All right. I can
So
appreciate that.
correct. So it's gonna
Mm.
one look great on the shelf, and two, I'm just ready to get back into like a little different fantasy. I'm ready for some dragon riders. Like
Yeah.
so, I'm
Question.
with you.
Do the dragons have sex in the book?
Well,
Is that
there's no scenes,
Oh, really? Okay.
but
Well, I
it's
mean,
implied that
well,
there are definitely
that
times when
no, that doesn't count. I mean, like you know what I'm
it's not a
asking.
smutty book. It is very much not a smutty
Okay,
book.
okay, all right. That's fair.
Um, it's just really great fantasy. I think there are some scenes
Some
and
spicy
like
scenes. Yeah.
there's some spicy scenes like Iron Flame and the throne scene. Ask your wife how I feel about the throne scene. That's my
Is
favorite
that
scene.
my lady,
Oh yeah,
my
that's my chair. Yeah, that's my
my
castle, my chair, my woman.
okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Okay.
All right, Zayden, let's go. But like our two main characters in that, their dragons are mated. And
Gotcha.
so there's definitely times when like the dragons will talk to their writers about how they cannot wait to see their mate again. And you're like, oh, well, we know the dragons are going to bang.
Gotcha. Okay. At least there's innuendo or,
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah, foresight or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, so my August reads,
Yeah.
there's a book group that I'm in on Facebook. And we're doing a bingo board.
Fun. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Cool. Very cool.
Um, and it's kind of fun because there are some things that I've kind of jumped out of my comfort zone with a little bit.
Whoa. Wait. What does that mean? Because I have never heard you talk about boundaries when it comes to smutty books. Like
So I don't
never.
traditionally go for like a small town romance
Okay.
or cowgirls
Oh, fair.
or
Okay, all right.
I've done some billionaire stuff. It's hit or miss. Like it's just not one of my go-to genres or
Okay.
tropes.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I see.
Office romance and not one I'm really gonna seek out.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of pushing me to find some new stuff, and that's why I'm liking it.
All right. Okay.
So I'm currently working through that. I have four, five. I have five of my bingo, five squares. I'll soon have six as soon as I finish Frost and Starlight because it's a blue cover, and that's one of my squares.
Nice.
um,
Nice.
but it was fun. Like there's one that like a new to me author, a billionaire. There's a bad boy, good girl trope,
Okay.
which we like. One was like the main character is a gymnast.
Interesting.
Um, royal. I don't usually go for a royal. Like I don't seek out royalty themed smutty books. If it's there, it's there. But like I don't seek it out.
Yeah.
So I had to seek that out because that was one of them, one of the squares. The one I'm kind of, if anyone has any recommendations, please drop them in because I'm looking for something that the main character plays rugby. I need a
Oh
rugby
boy.
romance.
Oh boy. We need to talk about this one. We need to talk about this one. All
Uh-huh.
right.
And then
Then
I need a main character as a teacher. So give me those racks.
let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
My name is Ben,
And I'm Amanda.
and this is Seasoned Readings. Finally, we did it.
We did it.
Here we're talking about all the stuff.
Mainly
Harry,
ACOTAR right now.
Harry Potter.
We do that, yeah.
We do sometimes. No, we don't talk about Harry. We sometimes talk about Harry Potter.
It
We talk
comes
about
up just as millennials,
right. Yes,
elder millennials who were, I think, shaped a little bit by the franchise.
smutty Harry Potter occasionally comes up.
It does. I am
Yeah.
still working my way through Manicold, guys.
Mm, there you have it.
Mhm.
But I have a question. But before we get to rugby, I have a question on nomenclature.
Okay.
Uh, Having started um, Silver Flames, Moss has started using some more verbiage.
Oh, she got a
And
thesaurus, I hear.
yeah, yeah, for male anatomy
Okay.
mostly. So like what? So here's my question: what is like your tier list for the male appendage? Because Moss is dropping cock like anytime it's a smutty scene, it's just like
We do
it,
like a hard cock, like that. Yeah, okay.
okay, well, okay.
That'll always work.
Also, I've never referred to mine as a cock. Like they emphasis that in the audiobook. You know what I mean? It cracks me. Like I gotta try not to smile every time I hear it. It's just like, okay, I get it. We know what it is. We know it's raging rock hard. But
Okay,
look,
so
like,
I don't know that there's really many, or at least I have not heard one in a book that has given me the ick.
okay,
At least for a male, there are ones that give me the ick
let's go for the ones that you like first. Like
for
what's like the
women.
yeah, what is like and maybe not just you, but women in general, because like obviously this is new to me. Like what do they want to hear? Because
I mean, I personally am like a fan of the classic dick.
okay, that's what I was wondering. Like, why is this you drop one of those every once in a while? Is that
Yeah,
like a
like I like a big hard dick,
okay, sure.
but I will fuck around with a big hard cock.
Sure, sure.
Like, and those I'm good with those. Those are great. Like,
Okay. All right.
they don't bother me. I'm not, as like it doesn't give me the ick, but it's not my favorite. Is I don't like member.
That's fair.
It's just like
Yeah.
is he wearing a jacket? I don't. I
Like a members
don't
coat.
like a members only. Yeah, I
Members
don't.
only.
I don't.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that image is great. I love it. It's just a
Yeah.
cock with a members coat on, members only. Here I
I
am.
mean, obviously, like anatomical. Like I'm good with like penis ball.
I,
Like
balls come up. Balls come up a couple times.
balls all the time.
I don't like. There's got to be something better than balls. Come on.
Uh,
Seriously, there's got to be something
I
better.
mean, speaking of Deadpool Wolverine, there was a Juggernaut line that I thought was pretty funny.
That's good. It's just
Yeah,
got to
that
be
just feels,
something else. Oh, here
yeah.
we go. There's our.
Um, yeah, yeah. There's not many.
No,
Not that I can think of. Like I think there
sure,
was
sure.
one that like I was talking I didn't read it myself, but my friend was sharing it. And I want to say it was like a food analogy.
Interesting.
And I
Like
don't and like
she
not a
ate my
sausage, but
she ate my
like
cucumber.
no,
It's
it
like
was
she
but I think it was like really bad. Like I want to say it was like flesh tube or something.
oh, flesh flute.
Something like I'm just like, come on. Like what are you doing?
That's rough. That is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, I was kind of wondering because I was curious. I was like, you know, like she is pretty sold on cock, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's a
It's a great word.
it's a good one, yes. But I like variety, I guess.
Okay.
Cat, do you mind? Hey, I'm talking here. Come on, go. Okay. Yeah, I like variety, so I just wonder why she keeps dropping that one instead of other stuff. I'm like, maybe it's like a thing that I don't understand. Maybe women prefer something else. I don't know.
I mean, I think for as far as I'm concerned, dick and cock are just sling them around.
All right. Yeah, sure. What about it? What's ick then? I mean, other than like the flesh tubes and
Yeah, it
the
was an egg.
skin
So
flutes and the
hate, and this is a me,
sure, oh
but
sure.
I hate it in a muddy, spicy scene when it's from her perspective, and she says, "My slit."
Okay.
I I hate that.
Yeah, that's not
It's
yeah, that's not
I don't
favored.
like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I also don't like, and I had to put up with it for three of the books on my bingo
No.
card. Well, because it was a 3 book series, and they each were going to hit a different. They all hit like multiple tropes. So
Uh-huh.
I was using them to try and like fill out my board really quickly and get like the full story.
Okay. You should post a picture of your bingo card
Oh yeah,
sometime. No,
I
you
can do
know,
that. I will do that.
yeah,
Especially because
definitely.
I'm using little eggplants to mark off my
Perfect.
my little like
Oh yeah, that's great.
um they're by Jade West. It's called Sell My Soul, Buy My Soul, and Own My Soul. And the whole premise is that for $250,000 he gets to do whatever he wants to do for 60 days. He owns her. He can pimp her out to other people, whatever.
Sure. Okay.
And he at multiple points, like they're talking about anal, and it's her puckered hole.
Oh, okay.
That's an
Okay.
ick for me. I
That's
did not like that. I
a
was like,
big old ick.
oh, like I I'm gonna take your ass. All
Sure. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that
okay, that's fine.
you know what's happening.
I
It's
don't need the
descriptive
puckered
enough.
hole.
Yeah. No, that's too much of an image. I'm with you. I get that. Okay.
It's too much of an ick.
I will say like not that I have a problem with the word, but like when it's being used, like just the straight up vagina is
Yeah,
is not my favorite for
it's
sure.
not my
Like
favorite. I don't know that I would balk at it.
right. Yeah. Well, same
Slit
thing.
I
Like
will balk at.
sure.
Folds
Okay.
I don't love. I hate
Okay.
folds.
Crevice.
I also no.
Center. The center seems
Center's
popular.
fine.
Center's
Core,
popular.
that's fine. Like I think it's kind of a misnomer, but all
Sure.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I don't fold slit. I also don't like it when they refer to it as their sex.
Oh, really? Okay.
I
All
don't.
right. All right.
Because
I've
it's like not descriptive enough.
And that, okay, that I
And so
get.
I
I
think
feel
that
that.
might be why, where I'm just like, this is just, I mean, I understand that you're telling me this person is an anatomical female. However,
Sure.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
don't mind it when she's talking about his sex.
Interesting.
I think it's the possessive. If it's theirs, we're talking about somebody else's, it doesn't bother me.
Okay. All right.
But if they're talking about mine, he
That's
entered my
mine.
sex to the hilt. I
Gotcha.
don't love that.
Okay. Um, as you say, watch out on Silver Flames, but no, you should be good then. So yeah.
I don't think there's any icks. And most of the time, like obviously, I can push through some ick.
Oh, well, I'm sure you can. We've
But
addressed this. Yeah.
mhm.
Well, I mean, like for me, like reading Silver Flames, some of this is like, okay, like females have an unfair advantage when it comes to reading some of this stuff
Why?
because because if you're aroused, no one knows it. If I'm aroused, I have to stay indoors in a private quarters, like to make sure I'm not at full
We
staff,
also,
so to speak.
I will say, we also do, those of us who listen in very public spaces.
Yes, I
Um,
know a few of those people. Yes.
walking through the grocery store. My poker face, you ain't got nothing on this.
What
Like,
face I got? Like I could, I'm fucking Azrael when it comes to like listening to this stuff. Like no one's got nothing, but there's only so much I can conceal.
I'm
Like,
sure the older woman that I work with would be blush if she knew that when she walked up to ask me that question, they were talking about anal.
oh man, yeah. It's my wife was
Fine.
asked me like, were you listening to it? I'm like, I was out all day. Like, no, I'm not. Like there was a scene I was when I was reading Silver Flames. It was very evident what was going to be happening.
Mhm.
And so like I had paused it at this scene until it was an appropriate time to listen because I was like, I'm not taking any chances on
Well, you
this
just
one.
wear loose fitting shorts, you'd be fine.
That's the opposite of what I want to do. I mean,
A
like
long t-shirt.
I don't have one long enough. Let's put it
Well,
that way.
well, we need to get you a
Yeah,
night shirt.
just a full on 90. Let's do it. It wouldn't be the if I'm being honest, it wouldn't be the
And
first
some
time I've worn
pearls to
one.
clutch.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep. 1 year for Halloween. Have you ever seen Dallas Buyers Club?
Yes.
Oh, such a good movie.
So good.
Um, my wife and I cosplayed as um Jared Leto. I was Jared Leto's character. And so I wore like a nightie with like and like wrapped my head in like a
I love
scarf
it.
and yeah and high heels. I think that might have been the first time I've worn. No, wait. They were not high heels. They're steps. Is that
Okay.
is that right? Steps
I've not
or
heard that.
they have like it's not it's
Like a
high but it's
platform,
kind of yeah sure yes
a wedge,
yeah
an espadrille.
it wasn't a wedge because I know a wedge is like it's all the like the whole
Yeah.
length of the shoe right
You know,
not necessarily okay anyway I wore a feminine shoe
you know what? That's great.
and a nightie
I love that
black
for you.
nightie yeah thanks yeah it was a no one
What,
got the
does that
reference
mean that your wife was Matthew McConaughey?
no that would have been funnier if she was
Just
Jennifer
because I want to hear
Aniston's
your wife walk around going, all right, all right, all right.
she'd more likely be like, she'd be more likely to say, "You got any weed?" No. It'd be a lot better if you did. She loves Days Confused. She likes Days Confused a lot. So
The thing I
yeah,
like about high school girls is
they,
I keep getting older and they
they
stay the
stay the
same age.
same. Oh, it's so
It's
good.
so gross.
I love it. Yeah, oh
But it's
no,
so
absolutely.
good.
But it's so good.
It's so good.
What a great movie. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, yes, I don't remember where we're going with that, but that
We were talking
happened.
about Silver Flames and just
Silver
the fact that
Flames. Oh,
those
and well,
spicy
where?
scenes can
Yes.
sometimes put you in an awkward position.
Cheers to
Where
that.
I mean, me and my other smut reading friends, we like to refer to it, if it's really good, it's a thigh clencher.
Oh, all right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Still much more concealable
Oh,
than
100% much more, but it's a thigh clencher.
no, yeah. Of course, now my wife is taunting me, and every once in a while she'll be like, "You should listen to the book right now." I'm like,
Mhm.
"We're at dinner at a fancy restaurant. Probably isn't bad. Probably not the
Do
best
it. I
idea."
think you should do it. I love that.
Yeah, sure. I'll think about it.
I just want to see you sitting in a bar, drinking an old fashioned,
Just
listening to your smut.
headphones in. Even better, just the phone in front of me and the speaker on. Like no
Or the book.
earbuds.
Have the physical book.
I should, yeah, that would be good too. Just reading it.
Pro tip to anybody out there wanting to pick up a book girly, I think sitting very like dapperly dressed and having the book sit next to you while you drink a cocktail
Hmm.
will 100% open conversation.
Yeah, okay. I believe it.
Because I'm going to talk to you.
I did see a woman. I was going to get my allergy shots of all places. And I saw a woman just like opening up a ACOTAR and just reading them. Like, oh, no.
There, I had a patient last year come to her appointment holding her ACOTAR book. I went, "Oh, look at you!"
It's
And so we
popular.
talked ACOTAR.
Popping off. That's cool.
Yeah. So
Speaking,
speaking of ACOTAR,
yeah, speaking of ACOTAR, what an awesome segue.
oh, aren't we good
Great
at this?
job. Good job. Yeah, you're the
It's like
good
we've
one. You're
done this
great.
before.
Let's see, where did we leave Farah last? She was
So
under the mountain in a dungeon cell.
yeah, and she so where we left her is she has left Rasan's room after picking out all the lentils
All the lentils, which
from the
he,
fireplace.
yeah, he had to magic away, and
And he helped her magic those away after he magically healed her in
after
exchange for a 1 week a month that she spends with him in the night court. No, thank you.
yeah, yes, yeah. So obviously, spending a lot of time with Farah,
Mhm.
and yeah, making his presence known.
Yes.
Um, oh, and he mentions, hey, no more chores.
Yes.
She just is gonna be hanging out in her cell,
No
and then
more
just,
household chores, no more tasks.
oh no, I get a kitty. Guys, we're trying to record here.
I know. What is happening?
I don't know. Actually,
Mine shows up, yours shows up. It's like they're coordinating.
she's getting hungry. I know it's almost her.
Oh, he's ready for dinner as
Of
well.
course. Well,
And
she's
I'm like,
anyway.
homie, I haven't fed myself, so you can
Oh,
wait.
gotta eat. Gotta
I'll
eat.
eat. It just not yet.
Yeah. So she's alone in her cell now. No one's coming to really see her. No one
Except for to bring her food.
to bring her food.
Yeah,
All
she
she
gets
has is
it
all
at
she has.
regular intervals, is what she talks about.
I think doesn't she say she's like trying to keep track of the days but can't, just but trying to like figure out how
Um,
based on how many meals, because obviously there's no light, there's no anything. It's just like
she's trying to based off of the fact that each morning and every evening a fresh hot meal appeared in my cell. And so she's trying to use that as like her gauge for how many days. Hello, Miss Nova.
how do
Nova
you
has
feel about
lots to say.
smut?
Just put me down.
That's pretty much. Um, but after a while, someone does come.
Mhm.
4 days, maybe.
After about 4 days.
Two high fae women
Yes,
come to get Feyre.
they do.
Um, and they take her. They basically pamper her a little bit,
Mhm.
get her washed up,
Yeah,
get her kind of get some makeup on, get out of here. And body paint. They're painting all over her body.
they do. And they
Where
take this blue. So she's got this tattoo on her arm, which signifies um
her bond,
her
or not the
the
bond. I'm
deal that
sorry,
she
the
made
deal,
with Rysand.
the bargain,
Um,
the
yes, the
bargain.
bargain. And part of that also means there's an eye tattooed on the palm of her hand. And then bringing this up because it is becoming very important later
Yes, you're
on.
right. Yep.
So they continue the patterns of the swirls and stuff up her arm, and basically cover her entire body in this blue black paint.
And it kind of they blend in. Has anybody seen the tattoo at this point? I can't remember.
Um,
Um, they
no,
must have, yeah, or no, must not have because it
no,
didn't happen until after the worm.
yep,
So yeah, and if anyone, it may be Lucian's mother possibly,
yeah,
but otherwise, yeah, no one's really seen this thing, and she swears every once in a while it blinks
yep.
or it's looking at her or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so yeah, they match the tattoo with the rest of the on the rest of her body, and they give her something scandalous to wear, something
They
that's like
do. It's
a
a
sheer.
gauzy white dress.
Hmm.
It was little more than two long shafts of gossamer, just wide enough to cover my breast, pinned at each corner or each shoulder with a golden brooch.
Hmm.
And then it all comes down and joins into a single piece of fabric that hung between her legs,
Toilet paper.
essentially.
I imagined a toilet paper gown. But I don't know why, but I was like, it's like basically toilet paper, but much prettier. I'm sure it's
Mhm.
like a nice fabric or whatever.
I mean, it's gossamer. I mean, I'm
That's
thinking
right.
it's literally like the curtains that you
Yeah, behind you,
like.
like your curtains behind you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
just
these are even too thick for what she's wearing. Like,
uh,
yeah, just very sheer, not much to it,
mhm.
that kind
uh,
of thing.
and then our dude shows up,
And then we're sanded, yeah.
suave as ever.
Yeah, when she tried
Um,
to rip it off, she tried to rip the shift off.
did she?
Yeah.
Forgot about
The
that.
chief high fade ignored my demands to be clothed in something else. Their impossibly shadow faces veiled from me, but held my arms firm when I tried to rip the shift off. I wouldn't do that, a deep, lightning voice said from the doorway. Because Rysand is here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and he kind of lets her know that there's a celebration.
There
It's a
is. It's
um
midsummer.
midsummer. Okay, midsummer's celebration. And yeah, and the paint is has a purpose other
Yeah.
than
So he
isn't it
knows
kind of
who touches her.
he knows who touched her, but isn't it also kind of like there's he mentioned something about being like his style or his court style or anything, or am I just dreaming that up?
Um,
I'm dreaming it up. It's fine.
no, I don't know that he's explicitly says. Basically, he just she asks, "Is this necessary, sir? Can you not?"
Yeah, okay,
And
that's when
he
he
says, "Well, of course it's necessary because how else would I know if anyone touches you?"
hmm. And
And
considering she's barely wearing anything,
yep.
yeah.
And this is when he explains to her that the dress itself won't mar the paint,
Hmm.
and neither will your own movement. So you can rub up against everything you want, and it's not going to smear the paint.
Hmm.
Um, and he goes, and I'll remember precisely where my hands have been.
Hmm. Sultry.
hmm But if anyone touches you, let's say a certain high lord who enjoys springtime, I will know.
Sinister for
And
sand.
Feyre, he added, I don't like my belongings tampered with.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so
Rude.
good. It's
It
so
is. It is very good.
good.
Quite good. Yes.
Yes. And so then at that, he escorts her, beckons with his hand. We're already late, so let's go.
And they go to the throne room and it's popping off again.
Oh, yeah.
It's another like I don't know,
I mean, giant
deep
Fae party, like
yeah,
music.
deep drums, music, like just like freaking fairy light going off like they're glow sticks and just fucking that's what in my head that's what I like to think.
No, I like it.
Yeah, okay, cool. And
With
so that's what
Amarantha and Tamlin sitting on their thrones.
uh-huh, yeah, mm-hmm.
Um, and then Merry Midsummer, Rhysand says, bowing to Amarantha. And she's, what have you done with my captive? She responds.
My captive.
Tamlin, again, face like stone, just not even,
Oh yeah, he doesn't even respond.
doesn't
Just the
even,
whole
and
keeps doing
Rhysand just
the
tells
bullshit
her.
thing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just not even acknowledging her. And Rhysand tells her that, well, we made a bargain. Um,
We made a bargain.
one with the week with me at the night court every month in the exchange for my healing services after her first task. And he raised my left arm to reveal the tattoo whose ink didn't shine as much as the paint for the rest
Mm,
of her life, he says. Which Feyre found
yikes.
interesting considering that means he obviously believes she's going to make it through all three tasks.
Mm. I guess yeah, if you think about it like that, it's not really much of a bargain if she's about to die.
Right? Correct. Correct.
Right.
Yeah, he thought I was going to beat all the tests, is kind of what she kind of lands.
Hmm.
Amarantha tells her to enjoy my party. And
Hmm.
that's kind of it. I mean, until she is offered a goblet.
Oh yes, we made it. This is okay. I love this. I mean, I hate it because it's stupid, but I also love it.
It's
Uh,
giving Princess Leia and Jabba.
oh yeah, totally. Except Jabba's fucking hot. Just except Jabba is Rysand, right?
Yeah.
It's like instead of
Wait,
this like
I'm clipping that out for TikTok. That's going to be amazing.
please do, because
Jabba's
I mean
hot.
it's like a hot Jabba,
Hot
basically.
Jabba.
Instead of like this like gross tongue thing and just gross film all over his body.
Yeah, he was
It's a
gross.
it's like this snazzy black blue jacket
Yeah.
and freaking
Yeah.
slick like
Violet
nice look,
eyes and
right?
dark hair. Yeah.
I'm sure most
Um,
women would not mind being Leia in that position if it was indeed for sand,
Not Jabba the Hutt,
not Jabba the Hutt.
but Rysand of the Night Court.
Right. And there needs to be someone that splices that in. You know, those people that just like take a movie and splice into like a different person,
Right.
like Jim Carrey for like the for um what's the Shining? What's the guy who's in? I
Oh,
can't think
Jack
of his
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like, they need to splice in like an AI or sand in
Right.
for Jabba the Hutt. That'd be so good.
There you
Anyway,
go.
so he
So he
goes, yeah,
offers her wine.
uh-huh. But then she remembers, hey, Alice told me not to drink the wine. Amanda, what does she do?
She actually denies it. She shook her
She
head.
she did it. She
She
finally did
listened.
it. She listened.
She's
She
like, "Oh no, I
finally
should not
I shouldn't do this. Alice, this is a bad idea. And then Rasan says,
drink. You'll need it."
and then what
And
does she
just
do?
like that, she drank the
So
wine.
she drank the wine. She drank the wine. Really put up a good fight there.
Yeah, he tells her 3 times to drink, and then she drinks.
Yeah, tells her. I mean, like she does, but like she's like, all right, whatever.
And I will say, I love how Sarah does this because this is what literally the last line it says, drink, he said, and my traitorous fingers latched onto the goblet. And then it's boom. The next morning, I awoke in my cell.
It's just the minute it touches your lips, it's just out, lights
That's
out,
it.
baby.
That's
It's
it.
nothing. It's like don't drink that moonshine.
And she's spinning. She's got the spins.
And she's got,
She is hung over and had to crawl herself to the furthest corner of her cell so she could vomit.
she could throw up. Kudos to her for making it that far. Let's be
Yep.
honest. Most of us have probably been that sick before, and you don't always make it to the toilet.
Correct. Well, there's not even a toilet for her.
It,
So
but the corner is essentially the toilet at this point. Let's
is
be
it
honest.
though? Because I'm picturing it's like my bedroom.
If you're in a dungeon, everywhere is the toilet.
I
The,
just
co- the corner is the most toilet though.
I am not built for dungeon life.
As it turns out, most people are not.
No,
As
I'm
it
not
turns
built for
out.
this. This is not for me. That ain't it.
So
And
yeah, so
then the
she's
Lucian shows up.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
she's got the
he's
hangover of all hangovers, man.
right, and this dude comes in and just starts blasting her.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's freezing
fucking
in here, man. What's
yeah.
going on?
uh and he's just laying into her. I think I'm pretty sure he's laying into her about just like all the crap that she I don't
Yeah,
know.
like what happened?
Like why did you make a
Hmm.
why did you
Why did
make
you
the
make a
oh
pardon?
he
Didn't
already
you know
did
I was
that.
going to come?
Did
Oh
that
no,
was last chapter? Or was it this
he
chapter?
does it again
Okay.
because Lucian cannot miss a moment.
No. He's
Yeah, because he's acknowledging that. She's like,
I'm
he's
working
like,
on it,
what
baby.
look at this. He said, staring at the pan of me, thankfully it was all intact. And bastard, what happened? I got out even though I wasn't sure I truly wanted my answer. And Lucian Brooke, I don't think you want to know. And this is when they tell you, what do you think? Basically, Reese has been taunting Tamlin.
Hmm.
What was I doing the whole time? And Lucian let out a sharp breath, running a hand through his red hair. He had him dance, you danced for him the whole night. And when you weren't dancing, you were sitting in his lap.
Basically, like personal stripper, except
What kind of
well,
dancing? I pushed. Not the
yeah.
kind you were doing with Tamlin. In front of everyone, Feyre is not okay with this exhibitionism.
Nope.
And then he starts grabbing her arm, examining the tattoo. What were you thinking? Didn't know I'd come as soon as I could. And this is when she kind of lets him in. I had a fever. I was dying. I was barely able to keep conscious. How was I supposed to know you were going to come or that I
Sh-
was going to make it?
She was on death's door. I mean, like
Yeah.
the way that's written, I honestly feel like she could not wait another minute. And then that's why Brisand was there, right? Like
Right.
that's my theory.
And he's trying to tell her that he swore an oath to Tamlin. And she's like, I had no choice. You think I'm
Yeah.
going to trust you after everything you said to me at the manor? And this is when they have a moment of kind of, I risked my neck for you during your tasks. Was that not enough? And you offered up your name for me after all that I said to you. All I did, and you still offered up your name. I didn't realize I would. You didn't realize that I would help you after that oath or no oath. And this, I think, solidified my love for. Like, I already loved Lucian,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like after like him kind of being like, no, I was always going to help you.
Hmm.
Like, so you never had to be in this situation. Just solidified for me. Like, I want all the best for Lucian.
Oh yeah. Like
I
expe-
want all the best
and
for
we
him.
and we know like the story continues, like poor
Mhm.
Lucian.
He
That's my
still gets like, I hope she better do him justice in the
yeah.
next couple, whatever books are to come in this series, because so far through Frost and Starlight, Lucian is just,
No, he's just poor guy.
poor
Yeah.
guy is just always the bridesmaid.
Well, he's got this like unwavering loyalty that
Oh,
like
I know.
it's like it's such a characteristic um because most of the time it's to Tamlin, but then it's kind of like Torn when he's like has this friendship with Feyre, and it's like and now it's like this back and forth. He's like, he's trying to like be faithful to her, but also like, he's struggling even though he's
Yeah.
trying. He's such a
Yeah.
cool and he's witty and he's fun. He's such a good
He
character.
is. He really is. And they talk more that it's just a week of her life every month. And basically Lucian implies that he's obviously going to try and get her out of that.
Right.
But at that moment he had to go. And so he left. Just but not before kind of talking about what Marantha had Tamlin do to Lucian.
Oh, that's right. He gets whipped. He whips him,
Yep,
doesn't he?
he does. And basically,
Oh, yeah.
she goes, he shrugged, but thank you for helping me, she says. And then
Hmm.
he's like, it's why I couldn't come sooner, basically talking about what I heard about what she did. And that used our powers to keep my back from healing. He goes, I haven't been able to move until today.
Hmm.
So I think like I said, this gives us, I think, very much clearly shows that, like, because it's been days now since Rasan saved her, she would not have made it this long.
Well, and but he does come right after Rysand helps her, if you remember.
Lucian doesn't come. This is the first time she's seen Lucian since the task.
Are you sure? I
Huh?
thought positive he like came right after. Man, like
No,
shit's all
because right
fucked up.
after the worm, and that's when she's in the fever,
Yeah,
all
I
of
thought,
us.
and I thought he showed up like immediately. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Let's be honest. What chapter was that?
It would have been, we did 36 through 38 the last time. No, I'm pretty sure this is the first time, because right
Really?
after the task is when she has Tamlin whip him.
Okay, I guess you're right.
And we do see Lucian's mom.
Yes,
And so
that's
there's
true.
mention of Lucian because she basically,
Damn, I don't know why I thought that. I thought for sure he came immediately after.
no, because if he'd come immediately afterwards, she never would have had to make a bargain with Rand for her
Well,
life.
yeah, I got you. No, I don't know why I thought that. That's weird,
Yeah,
especially after we
so
just talked about it. But
since this was the first day he'd been able to move, so that I think just goes to show that, like, she would have died.
oh yes, it would not have been soon enough
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when he was there, it feels like or when Rand is there, it feels
Yeah.
like there's no time left. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think this helps just underline that point in a very subtle way, where he
Yeah.
talks about how like the first time that she's able to see him, it's after she's been like she cleaned the uncleanable floor without the
Right.
Lucian's mom, the lentils in the fireplace, the first night of midsummer. Like, so it's been a while, it's been weeks since her first task.
Yeah. It's been a
Um,
bit.
yeah. And so that kind of ends that little interaction with them because it's the next night and the same routine. She's washed and painted again and brought to the throne room.
Hmm.
And she would drink the wine. And after I drank the wine, though, I was mercifully unaware of what was happening
Right. It seems
night
like,
after night.
and it seems like, so the pushing the wine on her was maybe intentional
Mhm.
because it's kind of, it seems to be passed. Not only is it passing the time in the book very quickly, but it's also
Yes.
passing in her time very quickly, kind of
Hmm.
given that there's got to be a word for it, like giving the reader the same sense as the character in the book. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, we're experiencing a passing of time very quickly, and for her,
Hmm.
it's a reprieve from the garbage that she's having to endure. So part of me wonders if like that's why the wine's being pushed on her,
Yeah.
because he does. Rasan
Yep.
hands her the goblet pretty much every time, hands her the wine,
Yep.
like there it
Night
is.
after night. And she's dressed the same way. And she accompanies Rysand. And she says that this has become Rysand's plaything, the harlot of Amarantha's whore.
Hmm.
I would wake with vague shards of memories. So dancing between Rysand's legs as he sat in a chair, of his hands stained blue from the places that he would touch her, but only ever on her waist or arms.
Now that this is where I was like, so that small
Mhm.
line
Yeah.
like just speaks volumes
Mhm.
as to like what's going on.
Yeah.
And I wish it maybe wish it was delivered a little differently because at that point, like at that point, you kind of like know where allegiances are, like where they're going and like
Mhm.
what side people are on. But yeah, but I thought that was a very telling
Yeah.
part. Um,
And it's such like it almost gets overshadowed too because basically it talks about how like she would dance until she got sick and then once she was done retching he then had her start dancing again.
yeah,
So it's like at times he's so cruel
right.
still, but
But
knowing what
then,
I know is to come,
yes, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
such
yeah,
a like, oh wow, like what is
yeah.
going on here?
Like it's kind of like the have you ever seen V for Vendetta?
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, it's that small little note that he gets.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like those subtle little things, right, that you do
Hmm.
for a person or that you are that kind of like tell a person how their what their character is. It's like
Yeah.
this is such like a small little note to Feyre, just
Hmm.
kind of like this is the person I actually am.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't
Yeah.
ruin anything for anyone, but
No, no, I
but
think
yeah.
it's great. And then they get to uh we kind of meet another like kind of get another little break. Basically, she looked at Tamlin before the wine took hold. Um he never he never really acknowledges her. It just
No.
says, I entered the throne room. I was allowed only a glimpse of Tamlin before the drug of the wine took hold. But every time, every night, just for that one glance, I didn't hide the love and pain that welled in my eyes when they met his.
Why? Forget him. There's so many more.
He's not doing shit for you, my
He's
girl.
not doing, he's doing garbage. He's sitting there. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So then Rysand comes to her again and informs her her second trial will be the next night. And he goes basically that this could be your last night. So if you're taunting me into playing another game of yours, she said, you're wasting your breath. I love their just back and
Banter.
forth.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
their
yeah. It's
banner
good.
is so good.
They never get, and it continues to get better as the series goes
It
on
does.
too.
Yeah. Aren't you going to beg me to give you a night with your beloved? I'll have that night and all the ones after when I beat her final task. Um, and then he goes, I wonder if you were this prickly with Tamlin when you were his captive. And this is when she tells him that he never treated me like a captive or a slave. Oh, how could he? Not with the shame of his father and brother's brutality always weighing on him. See, he plays the antagonist
Oh,
so well.
oh yes, very much so. It's just
Mm-hmm.
oh, just those. inserting those needles and just
Yep.
it's a
And then
different kind of
he
torture.
says they go a little back and forth a little bit more about like how both courts have fallen, like because
Hmm.
she's trying to be like, oh well, Supreme Court fell, and she's like, well, so did yours. So, um, and then the festivities await,
Except this time things take a little different turn.
and she's like, I knew I was on dangerous ground, but I didn't care. What do you want with me beyond taunting Tamlin? Well, taunting him is my greatest pleasure. But as for your question, why does any male need a reason to enjoy the presence of a female?
No.
You saved my life, and through your life, I saved Tamlin's. And then he winks at her, smooths his hair, and he goes, that Feyre is the real question, isn't it, as to why he
Uh,
saved their lives.
why indeed?
Mm-hmm.
Why indeed?
It's interesting.
Um, so they go out to the throne room.
Yes.
But instead of just like a party going on, Amarantha
Mm-hmm.
gets Rasanne's attention, and
Yeah.
she has, I think there's like a high fae on his knees, right?
A
Um,
brown skinned high fae male was sobbing on the floor before the dais. Amarantha was smiling at him like a snake.
and what court was he from?
Let me see here.
Not Autumn,
The summer lordling. So he's from the summer court.
Summer. Okay. And it seemed as though he was trying to escape.
And he tried to escape through the exit to the spring court lands. And I
Hmm.
want to know why, is what she's saying to Rysand.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And so Rasanne kind of shuffles over to him,
mhm.
casually walks over and sticks his hands in his pockets,
Yep.
as one does when they're reaching into somebody's mind.
Hmm.
And there's some, it's been too long. There is what essentially happens is he breaks the dude, but he kills him.
Yeah,
But there's more to it than that, though,
there
especially with like,
is.
yeah, there's his family is
So
there.
yeah, it's like so obviously like the whole court is there, like the whole summer court
Right.
is there.
Everybody's watching.
The high yeah, like she's like talks about how she'd seen him before during the first task, the High Lord of the Summer Court. Before he'd been shining almost leaking golden light, but now he was muted and drab.
Mhm.
The summer fairy cringed, his face shining with tears. My own bowels turned watery with fear and shame as he wet himself at the sight of Rysand.
That's okay. Great.
Um,
Wonderful.
I know, isn't that
Poor
it's
guy,
really
man.
sad.
It is.
His back to me, Rassand's shoulders were loose, not a stitch of clothing out of place, but I knew his talons had latched onto the fairy's mind the moment the male stopped shaking on the ground. The High Lord of Summer had gone still too, and it was pain, real pain and fear that shone in his stunning blue eyes. So this is our first little taste of the High Lord of the Summer Court,
Hmm.
and I do like him later.
Yes, yeah, he was quite nice. Yes.
Yes, yes, he is. And so they're talking. Summer was one of the courts that had rebelled. She remembered. They wanted to escape to get to the spring court, cross the wall, flee south to human territory. Rhysand is, kind of reporting back to Amarantha.
Yeah.
Um, he had no accomplices, no motive beyond his own pathetic cowardice. He jerked his chin toward the puddle of piss beneath the mail. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw the summer high lord sag a bit, enough to make me wonder.
Uh-huh.
Shatter him, Rysand, Amarantha says, and you may do what you want with the body afterward. And at this point, the High Lord of the Summer bowed as if he'd been given a gift and looked at the subject who had gone still and calm with the floor hugging his knees. The male pharaoh was ready and relieved. Rysand slipped a hand out of his pocket, dangled it at his side, and could have sworn a phantom talon flicked there as his fingers curled slightly. He curled his fingers into a fist, and that was it. He was dead.
Dunzos.
Mm-hmm. And then this is when Amarantha gets mad at Rysand and tells him,
I
I said,
asked you
shatter his
shatter,
mind, not
not
his
kill,
brain.
not his brain. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Shatter his mind, not his brain.
And then we're saying I just love the casual, like, dude is weak, I
Yeah.
think. Or
Apologies, my
just
queen.
I slipped or something. So
Yeah.
what is it?
It's
I can't remember, but
Oh, I think
it's
that's all he says is there everyone's kind of talking. He just kind of shrugged. Apologies, my queen.
that's it. Just whoops,
Um,
oopsies.
yeah, just yeah, basically, oops, I'm so sorry. But that's it.
Okay,
But it does cause Feyre to kind of think a little bit about the fact that it actually may have been kinder that Rysand killed him
instead of
instead of just turning him basically into a vegetable.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's this is one of those little
Notes.
moments.
Yeah, it's just like we're kind of getting the details, subtle
Mhm.
details about our dude here,
About who Rysand is. Yeah,
about our number one character.
our favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we're into chapter 40.
Chapter 40.
So, chapter 40, my second task arrived. She talks about, oh, the second trial has come. Are you ready for the second trial?
I think so. Let's do it. Let's do the second trial. They
So
take her, of
Amaranthus taunts her again. Have you solved my riddle? No, not yet. Too
course
bad,
not.
but I was feeling generous tonight. And the adder is chuckling away. And she goes, how about a little practice? So basically, she lowers her into this pit.
Yeah, because they're not in the throne room, I don't think.
No.
They're in something.
They come to another cavern smaller than the throne room.
Yeah, and there
The
is
adder's
a
there.
the adder's there, and there is a what would seem like a like very large chandelier above her.
Mm.
I believe she notices that, and then the floor starts lowering into the ground.
Lowering in a large rectangular pit.
Hmm. And when she gets down there, she see Lucian is down there,
Mm-hmm.
chained to the other side of the platform that she's
Yeah,
on,
Lucian lay chained to the center of the floor on the other side of the chamber.
the other side of the chamber.
His remaining rusted eye so wide that it was surrounded with white. The metal one spun as if set wild. His brutal scar was stark against his pale skin. There were no doors and no way for me to get to his side except to climb over the gate between us.
Hmm.
She's talking about in the rectangular pit that the three of the walls were made of a single sheet of smooth, shining stone, too polished and flat to climb. The other wall wasn't a wall, but that's the iron gate splitting the chamber into two,
Right.
and that's what's preventing her from being able to reach
Lucian,
Lucian.
or to get out or anything.
Yeah.
And on one wall that she does have access to
Mm-hmm.
is sorry. Uh, there's writing on the wall and three levers,
Mm-hmm.
and with numbers above each of the levers.
Yeah. So here, Feyre darling, you shall find your task. Simply answer the question by selecting the correct lever and you'll win. Select the wrong one to your doom. As there are only three options, I think I gave you an unfair advantage.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah. So
And then it make matter. And so yeah, okay, whatever. But then what she thought was a chandelier was actually a
two
burning
giant spike encrusted grates.
grates start coming
They're
down,
lowering.
lowering on her. I
You know
think.
what it's giving? It's giving Pit in the Pendulum.
Oh, you think? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
As
Very
the
cool.
pendulum
Pendulum's getting lower and
lower
lower.
and lower and lower and
Yes.
lower.
I like it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And like I like how she also talks about the great lowering, or the whatever it is, and how it's they're spikes, but they're not like, eventually she notices them and they're not sharp. They're like
No.
they're like dulled, and she imagines like how horribly painful it's going to be for these to impale, like
Yep.
more or less crush her, because they're not gonna penetrate her skin. Like they're just, and everything is just on fire. There's fire because she talked about how hot it is as it lowers.
Yep. Hmm.
And so she freaks out though, because she's like, oh, she must have figured out that I can't read.
Right. That's like immediately because there's a
Yeah,
lengthy inscription was carved into its smooth surface, and beneath it were the three stone levers with the numbers 1, 2, and 3.
yeah. And
And I began to shake, and she is just,
she's like, oh, I'm fucked.
yep. And the spiked
because
grade is descending.
and Lucian is screaming at her. Just
Squirming,
and
cannot.
but she won't do anything. She tries to read. She can't really. She doesn't know all the words. She's like trying to pick it apart. Maybe she's like, maybe I can decipher something from just little bit I know, but she can't. And so she just
Yeah,
starts like panicking, retreating, and Lucian's just like, just pick one, just
just
pick
pick
one.
one. Feyre, he screams, pick
Just,
one. And she's trying to, all we get of the riddle is three grasshoppers
mm-hmm.
were bouncing.
And
I don't
that's
know
all
what
she.
the three grasshoppers were doing, but they were bouncing.
Which we don't ever get the answer to.
We get the
We can
answer.
we can assume, but we don't. It doesn't actually say which one does it.
It does.
It does. Okay. All right.
So we get
'Cause
the answer, but we don't know what the riddle was.
No, 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 no. Is it three or
It
was
is
it
three.
okay? Which I thought I was, but Lucian can't see the riddle, right?
It's up on the wall. He might be able to see it, but he's laying probably
Right,
flat. It's
right,
kind of
right,
how
right,
I
right. Yeah, imagine, yeah, because
yeah,
otherwise he'd just be like, oh, hey,
it's
it's
this one.
three,
So I
it's
don't think
three.
he can, it might be behind him,
I
maybe.
can't remember. I remember there
Yeah.
being some for some reason he couldn't see it, but he's like, just pick one, he's like yelling at her, and
Yeah.
she's just freaking out. And so she finally, like, as it's closing down and like impending doom is about
And
to.
well, and I love her thought process, the way she's trying to logic her way through this without knowing anything about the question.
What is this here?
They meant nothing to me beyond life and death. Chance might save me, but two. Two was a lucky number because that was Tamlin and me, just two people. One had to be bad. One is bad because that's like Amarantha or the Adder. One was a nasty number. Three was too much. It's three sisters crammed into a tiny cottage, hating each other until they're choked on, until
She's
it
just
poisoned them. Two. It's two.
panicking. Just
She
like
is. Just
just this sheer fear is driving her thought processes and just like going through all this
and
stuff and
as she reaches for the second lever, because she's like two. Two's the
yep.
one I understand. Two. She has this blinding pain raking her left hand where that eyeball was.
Eyeball right
I
there.
hissed, withdrawing, and I opened my palm to reveal the slitted eye tattooed there. It narrowed. Was I hallucinating, she thinks? Because she swears this eye narrowed at her.
Uh-huh.
The grate keeps coming. The heat was too much, and the metal sizzled. It was barely 6 feet above my head.
Gosh, I could reach up and easily
Yeah.
reach up and like,
Uh-huh.
well, maybe not easily,
I
but I
reached
could
for
probably
the
jump up
middle
and
lever, but the pain paralyzed my fingers. The eye had returned to its usual state. I extended my hand toward the first lever. Again, pain. I reached for the third lever. No pain.
and
My
then
fingers
but then
met
she
the
did
stone.
but she doesn't pull it right away, I don't think.
No.
She
No. So basically,
hesitates.
she's like, okay, that hurts. Don't like that.
Ow,
Okay,
ow,
that
ow. Okay.
hurts. Nope. Oh,
Ow.
that doesn't
This
hurt.
doesn't
Okay. But
that
I'm going
doesn't
to go
hurt.
back here to number one again. I just had to confirm.
I just have to make sure, like, I have to not listen. I have to like read, like, is this her
She
all
has
over
this
again?
overwhelming,
The
not
sense to
following instructions.
just like this. Obviously, there's this thing that wants me to pull the number three. I don't
Mhm.
know.
And again, through this whole thing, Feyre, please, Lucian is pleading with her. I shook so badly I could scarcely stand. The heat of the spikes bore down on me. The stone lever was cool in my hand. I shut my eyes, unable to look at Tamlin, bracing myself for the impact and the agony, and pulled the third lever. And then silence. She had won. So three is the
Three
answer.
is the answer. Three is the answer.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had
um,
won. The grate groaned as it lifted toward the ceiling, cool air flooding the chamber. I gulped in
she
uneven breaths.
yeah, and so she just starts bawling. She just or
She
starts crying, or she
no.
starts to lose it. But
She starts to lose it, and then she hears words inside of her head.
mhm,
Don't let her see you cry.
don't let her
Put
win.
your hands
Yep.
at your sides and stand up.
So
Don't give
she
her the satisfaction of seeing you break.
and so she does. And she stands up, and when by the time that the platform is done rising up, she's composed and
Mm-hmm.
looks. I think she just looks Amarantha right in the face,
Yeah, I couldn't
right in her
move. My
eyes.
knees and yeah, my knees and spine entirely of my own will force me upright. Good, Rasan told me. Stare her down. No tears. Wait until you're back in your cell. And she does. I had won, but I should be dead. I should be squashed, my blood oozing everywhere. Count to 10. Don't look at Tamlin, just stare at her. And I obeyed. Good girl.
Good girl.
Now walk away. Turn on your heel. Good. Walk toward the door. Keep your chin high. Let the crowd part, one step after another. And then she went to her cell door closed. He went silent, and I dropped to the floor and wept for hours.
Dude, this was like this hit me. I was like,
This was so good.
oh, like this is
I feel like it loses a little bit of something because sometimes
mhm.
I feel like it doesn't have enough time to breathe.
Because it is quick. This is a quick
It's very
chapter.
quick.
Yeah.
And but this task has such high stakes. Like I said, it very much is very reminiscent to me. It reminds me of the Pit and the Pendulum, where
Mhm.
like she she's sitting here and she knows that like if she guesses wrong, not only is she gonna die, but her friend is gonna die.
Yeah.
And so the stakes are like the highest they've been
So you are
for
bringing
her.
up, you're bringing up, this is something I figured we'd talk about later, but you're bringing up one of my problems with this book, and it is these last chapters
Mm-hmm.
move way too fast.
They
It
do.
definitely feels like this entire book was well planned out and like, but this last part, it was kind of like almost like a rush job at here at the end. Um, Now for this chapter, chapter 40 and the second task, like I, it definitely having such a very short chapter, making it a very quick read does give it some kind of gravitas because it's like it's all happening very quickly, and by making it
Yeah.
short, then short read makes it feel like
I
that as well to you.
I don't know.
But
Maybe I am being too critical of it.
I don't think you
Um,
are because
because I sit here and I think because I'm going to stick with my Poe analogy on this is that it happens pretty once like it starts very slow. Like the Pit and the
mm,
Pendulum is very slow. It's in the dark. It's this, oh, there's this pit, and I don't know how deep it is, and I don't know how far, but I know that there's this walkway all the way around. And then we find ourselves strapped to this table, watching the pendulum slowly lower and lower. And so it's like it's happening. And that's when the frantic starts, when it's like, oh no, it's getting closer. It's getting close. Oh my God, it's cut my shirt. Oh my,
yes, it's like it's a
like
very
there's
slow death.
building
Yeah,
and there's anticipation, and I feel like some of that anxiety would have helped this.
I I think you're absolutely right because like there is a lot more in this chapter. Well, I do think once the grate is lowering and she's like afraid and freaking out, there's so much more before and after that that could have been put in to really add to the
And
suspense.
it's very
Um,
little, like I don't think it would have. I feel like it would be a matter of just a few pages if in
yeah,
addition to, like, because the Pit and the Pendulum's a short story.
yeah.
Like, so I mean, I think I've seen it performed live in like a half hour or something
Hmm.
on stage. Like, it's there's ways to do that and like start it slow. Tell me everything that's going around. Tell me, give me the details. Put me in this moment. And then I think the thing it's missing is it's not describing the sounds. Like it's just her head and she's sitting here panicking,
Yeah.
but it's not like as I hear the creak of the grate as it slowly lower. It's the heat. You get the heat, and so you do start to get that anxiety,
Hmm.
but it's not given enough time because you can be quick and frantic in the writing,
But still
but
give the
still
description.
allowing enough time for me to start feeling the anxiety.
Yeah, I feel okay. I see what you're
But
going
again,
with.
I think
I see
Poe
where you're
is the
coming from.
master of a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well, sure, yeah,
It's
yeah. For sure.
and if you're not a
Yeah.
horror writer, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Is
I think
build anxiety, but also keep it at a higher pace. It's
so
hard.
like the trial, like the actual like question, I thought that was dumb to be honest. Like choose from these three levers and it's like okay, like
In theory, it's dumb until you realize the stakes that are there. And
true.
the
I
stakes
think
I don't think got a chance to breathe. That's the
and that's where
problem.
yeah, and that's the next thing I was gonna say is like we didn't get the full breadth of of the situation. But it was cool. It could have been, but again, like I'm saying with all these last chapters, could have been
It's
delivered.
fast.
Yeah, and part of me, and then it's like, well, the book had to be so short, or it couldn't be much
Mhm.
longer. It's like there's a lot of other junk in this book that you could have pulled
100%.
to make and then expanded on these really cool parts. Like
That's
really, I
why
feel
it's
like
still like there's still so many parts of it that feel like this is a newer writer
right.
because her pacing it go start
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't, but I feel like as the books progress, the pace stayed like I never felt like there were pacing issues in Wings and Ruin.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even the second book, heads and tails better than this one
Yeah.
in all aspects. Yeah, so it's just weird to kind of it's like how do you recommend this book to other people or recommend this series to people when you're like, yeah, the first one kind of sucks, but you can't skip it. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's true because there is so much stuff that's set up in here that's so important to the rest of the series. I mean, and I think that's like I saw it on Book Talk, and I think it's the best way to describe it is that this is the tax that you pay for the rest of the series.
yeah, I mean, I have like when it comes to like TV series and video games, it's like if the first 15 minutes of your video game is not good, I'm probably not going to play it. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I get that. I mean, if I would have if I had knew nothing of this book, and I
right.
hadn't like because the only reason I picked this book up and I even made it to my TBR is because of Book Talk because I would have had no I was so out of the loop when this started having its big moment.
Yeah.
I was just getting back in and I was seeing this one, seeing this one, seeing this one. I was like, okay, yeah, I like fantasy. Like, let's go. And then if I would have just picked this up, I want to say that I would not have read the others, but I am a bit of a completionist.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
with
still
you.
might have,
Yeah.
but oh, I would have been hard pressed. I would not have been excited.
I wouldn't have if I knew nothing about the rest of the books, I'd be done after this one. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, a great example is earlier in in um in this discussion, we were talking about other books. I was reading Red Rising,
Mm-hmm.
and like I haven't touched the rest of the series. And that was a good book. It was, it was
Yeah.
decent, better better than this one for the most part. Um, but I'm not interested in picking up the rest of them. I mean, there is some bias to that because the genre is not my favorite, but yeah, I don't know. And then, again, this is probably a discussion for after we finish the book, finish summarizing the rest of it. But yeah, these last few chapters just blazing by fast, and it's like it's just the pacing is. I would have liked to have seen more of some of this stuff, or like written differently, or for different things to happen, and then lost
Yeah.
some of the stuff in the earlier chapters that
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
I don't know. Like the book count on this the page count on this edition is 416 pages. You could have taken this to 450 to let these tasks breathe a little bit,
Mhm.
and I would not have batted an eye.
Did you see that?
That was
I,
so cute though.
I don't know if the audience caught it, but my cat is molesting my equipment here, all of it. Get off, please. Do you mind? It's
Nope.
just the
I
big
don't mind,
eyeballs.
Jesus. It was really cute with the little face in the camera.
Just look like this.
Yeah, there it is. Hello. Hi, Nova.
Mm, there you go. We created it. Hopefully this all that time. Anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and finish up because it's getting
Yeah,
late.
let's
But
let's let's yeah, let's push through.
yeah, so she's in her cell just bawling her eyes out, and
Falling.
then Rasan comes in. This summary I'm reading just says Rasan appears and licks the tears from her face.
He does. He does. He
I
does.
don't
He
think
shows up and he's like, "Are you still weeping?"
it's just like, oh, is this a smut thing? Is this
It's a Versand and Feyre thing
like I
because
don't
they're
know.
always kissing tears away from each other's faces.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, like maybe this is like his attempt. He's like, oh, I'm gonna lick your tears away because I actually don't want to see you cry, but this way you still think I'm a creep, maybe.
I understand the premise because like we've
Uh-huh.
all seen the movies where like the one character is bawling and like they kiss, we're kissing, kissing, kissing and
Right.
kissing your tears away. It's just
Right.
I the way it's phrased, I literally just see him like licking her face.
Just a fat tongue in her face. Just
Right.
lapping it up.
Wrapping it
That's
up.
like it's like yeah, I don't know. My only assumption for this is like he like really cares for her, doesn't want to see her cry, and
Mhm.
but kissing her would show too much affection and he would lose
Yeah.
the facade he's got going on. But if he's licking her tears, it makes him seem like a fucking creep, and that he is the the menace that he's pretending to be or
Yeah.
is. Right.
Yep. So he
Uh,
grabs her by her arms, and I could do nothing as his mouth met with my cheek, and he licked away a tear. His tongue was hot against. He's licking.
licking. I
He is
told you, I was
licking.
lapping it up.
Hot against my skin, so certainly I couldn't move as he licked away another path of salt water. See, off the face.
It's just wetting the whole thing. Just, it was, I imagine like now I'm imagining it's just like and all just drool and slime, like probably more wetness on her face than when she
Yeah.
just had tears.
I wiped my face and glared at him.
Exactly. Like
And then he
that's
goes, I figured that would get you to stop crying.
well, okay.
It was disgusting. I wiped my face again. Was it? He quirked an eyebrow and pointed to his palm, to the place where my tattoo should be. Beneath all your pride and stubbornness, I could have sworn I detected something that felt different.
Uh
Do you want me to kiss your feet for what you did at the trial? Is what she's basically because he cheated. He helped her cheat.
yes. It's all
Um,
pretty obvious that it was
mhm.
him. And that he was the one communicating to her, telling her to do the things at the end.
Yeah.
Uh,
And she goes, "You're a disgusting bastard." And he goes, "I'll have to ask Tamlin if this is the kind of flattery that won his heart."
yep, it is,
"I'll spare you
apparently.
the escort duties tomorrow," he said, shrugging. "But the night after, I expect you to be looking your finest." And then he vanished into shadow before I could launch myself at him.
Is it look your finest? I'm pretty sure she just looks the same as the previous nights, doesn't she?
Correct. I just so it is so funny that he's like he licks her tears and like it does come up like they do kiss each other's tears away like all the time.
Yeah.
But
Which
again,
is
I
cute.
love this moment though because well I just figured I'd lick your face so you'd stop crying.
Yeah. I just planted my tongue on your cheek so that way,
I dare you the next time your wife cries, I want you to lick her face.
or just anytime I want her to get change her mood at all, just
I'm
like
gonna lick
lick her
her face.
face. Or just I have done this before. I'll just be like, I'll take my hand and act like I want to do something sensual, and I just put it right in her face. Yeah, just like palm her face. That usually works pretty well. Pissed afterwards, but at least her mood is
But
in
like
is different.
pissed.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you know my wife. That
I know your wife
yes,
very
yeah,
well, but I'm gonna do this to her the next time.
sure, okay. Just be like that, or what's the other thing? There's
When
something I
I greet
usually
her the next time, I'm just gonna
yeah. She'll be like, "What are you doing?"
your husband told me you love this.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear about it after that, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Uh,
100%.
yeah, but yeah, I okay, like I don't know. Is this a scene trying to make it like kind of smutty, but trying to just
No, I
like
don't think so at all. I think
it's
this is
just
just
it's just
again
something weird, something weird that
it's a little
happens,
weird, but again, I think the intention behind it is again, it's just another one of those little seeds about who Rysand is.
right?
Is he
Sure.
has a sense of humor. Like he's doing it. He knows it's weird.
Yeah,
And he's
that's
doing it to be playful
right.
and to help her. Whereas
Okay,
somebody else just locks her away.
but I have no comment on that.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So he's telling her to look her best. He takes off,
Yep.
and
That's the end of chapter 40.
that's the end of it.
So we got through two chapters, but we got through the second task. So
Yes, and we got a lot of cool, fun banter that I've been
we
wanting
did.
to ask about at the beginning of this. So that's
Correct.
always fun.
It is. So on that note,
Mm.
thank you all for watching.
Like, subscribe, share.
Share,
Please share.
follow us on all the socials. There should be a link to a link tree in the description. that will link you to our TikTok, our Goodreads,
Mhm.
um, our Instagram, and
Uh,
then I need book recs for a rugby player.
oh, we forgot to talk about rugby players.
Did forget to talk about rugby players. Ben's obsessed with rugby players.
Dude, I kind of need to look like a rugby player. I'm just like, dang, man. Like
Oh yeah.
Olympic rugby players. Like, oh
Particularly the
man.
Australian team, their social media team needs a raise.
The French got gold this year, and there's some good looking dudes on that team. Let's
There
be
is
honest,
something
there's some
about
good
that
looking.
rugby player aesthetic.
I like their necks are so thick. I don't know how it's possible.
I'm thinking the thigh action.
Oh yeah, that too. Well, they're somehow their necks and thighs are the same
Width.
girth, is what I was gonna say.
All right. On that note,
Yeah, no, no. All
we
right.
will see you all later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.